My agent was supposed to secure deals for our company, but he was quietly taking a cut for himself. It all started when I noticed minor discrepancies in my quarterly reports. Just small enough to be dismissed by anyone else, but consistent. At first, I thought it was an accounting error, a misplaced decimal. But the deeper I dug, the more patterns emerged. Deals that should have reflected large commissions were oddly missing. Meanwhile, some clients reported receiving different invoices than what my department had issued. The man responsible? Victor Salazar, the company's top agent for international contracts. Charismatic, smooth-talking, always smiling except behind the curtain. He had been mentoring me since I started in Miami, but I began suspecting that mentorship hid a much darker agenda. I knew I was dealing with someone who could charm his way out of anything, so I had to be smart, meticulous, and discreet. One false move, and I'd be the one accused of mismanagement. I've worked in international sales for over 6 years, managing client relationships across Latin America and the Caribbean. When I joined Global Trade Corp, Victor was already the star agent, raking in millions. The problem? He wasn't just excelling, he was hiding deals, skimming earnings, and funneling the profits through offshore accounts. I didn't realize the full extent until I took over the Caribbean portfolio. My responsibility included auditing contracts, following up on payments, and ensuring compliance. That's when I saw the cracks. Victor was subtle. He'd redirect payments, shift contract copies, and even manipulate project codes so it appeared I had missed a deadline or mismanaged a client. Anyone else would have assumed incompetence, but I knew better. I had been warned. Victor didn't just cheat the system, he destroyed careers if anyone got too close. The first undeniable red flag appeared in a client meeting with Puerto Verde Shipping, a longtime partner. I presented the quarterly report only to have their CFO shake his head. "Javier, this isn't matching our records," he said, sliding a printed invoice across the table. I compared it to my system and saw it. Victor had altered the numbers before submission. I felt a cold rage. This wasn't just incompetence, it was intentional theft. Back at my desk, I cross-checked other contracts. Dozens of transactions showed similar manipulations. Small amounts hidden here and there, skimming just enough to remain undetected. But I had something they didn't: time, patience, and an eye for detail. I started building a dossier, copies of contracts, emails, accounting logs, and internal memos, everything Victor touched. I even discreetly requested signed hard copies from clients to verify the originals. I mapped his patterns, which clients he managed personally, which payments got altered, and how he rerouted funds. Each step, I kept my tracks invisible. If Victor suspected I was gathering evidence, he would have covered his tracks immediately. I also secretly monitored his interactions with finance. Any suspicious email, any unusual meeting, everything went into my folder. Slowly, the picture became undeniable. Victor had been skimming earnings for at least 2 years. I didn't confront him yet. Instead, I started dropping subtle hints to finance and legal teams. Casual comments like, "Some contracts seem inconsistent. Shouldn't we double-check?" Made them take note. Victor noticed my questions, but didn't suspect I had concrete proof. He still acted smug, confident that his charm shielded him. Meanwhile, the tension in the office became palpable. I watched as colleagues unconsciously avoided him, sensing the storm brewing. I felt the thrill of control building. Patience would be my weapon, and soon the trap would snap. I prepared a master folder with all evidence meticulously documented. Every altered contract, every rerouted payment, every email with discrepancies highlighted. It was airtight, and my signature was absent from all incriminating files. I then scheduled a meeting with corporate compliance under the pretense of discussing new client onboarding. Once there, I presented the folder. The auditors were stunned. Each alteration, each skimming move was documented, time-stamped, and verified by multiple sources. Victor's confidence began to crack, but he still didn't know I had a few more surprises waiting. Compliance immediately escalated to legal. Victor was summoned under the guise of a routine review. I watched from a distance as his demeanor shifted. Charm replaced by unease, bravado replaced by nervous glances. I stayed silent, letting the professionals question him, letting the evidence speak. Emails, invoice copies, and signed contracts clearly showed he had hidden deals and skimmed earnings. His excuses crumbled as HR and legal teams cross-checked data against client records. Victor attempted to pull rank, arguing he had approvals from management for certain financial adjustments, but every document he presented was either forged or unverifiable. Even the finance department couldn't justify his actions. I could see the panic in his eyes as his empire of lies collapsed. Colleagues whispered behind their hands. The office had never seen someone so calculatedly exposed. The company pressed formal charges, reporting him to corporate legal counsel. I provided testimony, presenting all hard evidence. His assets were frozen, contracts with offshore accounts flagged, and investigations into his financial conduct began. I watched from my corner, calm yet satisfied. Victor's network of clients and internal allies started distancing themselves, unwilling to risk association. The man who once ruled the office with charm and deceit was now isolated, vulnerable, and exposed. Months later, Victor was removed from his role, and the company recovered the majority of the funds he had skimmed. I was promoted to oversee compliance and client relations for the Caribbean portfolio, entrusted with preventing such fraud in the future. My colleagues whispered. Some congratulated me. Others gave wary glances, realizing how coldly precise my revenge had been. Justice had been served not violently, not recklessly, but meticulously, coldly, and borderline brutal. Every time Victor thought of the contracts he had altered, he remembered me quietly orchestrating his downfall. Satisfaction lingered like a shadow, sweet, calculated, and haunting.
Thank you for being here. If you enjoyed this, go watch the one on the left and don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel for more tales of triumph over injustice and a saga of ultimate revenge.